Hello everybody, it's Donnie Rich here with another video. I was planning on doing a video of hard and heavy bands from the early 70s. I'll do that next probably, but who knows. I watched a video this morning from Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin. And it inspired me to pull a bunch of records, and I'm shooting this video. So thank you, Larry. He did the video of his 5 favorite bands when he was a wee little lad, and his 5 favorite new bands that he has recently discovered. And I'm going to do that, plus I'm going to have a bonus 10 bands. So there's a lot of records here. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I don't want this to be much longer than 20 minutes. We're going to start off with Meet the Beatles. Meet the Beatles were my favorite band as a little kid. When I heard them on Ed Sullivan, it was like, it clicked like that. Probably with the first note. This is the first U.S. Capitol album. I'm going to show the 4 Capitol albums because those are the ones I listened to as a kid. And this is one of my favorites. And we got the second album. Now, at the time, I didn't care for this one as much. I like it a lot more now. In fact, I probably bought this maybe only a couple of years ago. I never had this. Something new. This is one I've had for a long time. I think this is their 3rd album. And then we got Beatles 6. Got some really good songs. And finally, we got the Beatles Yesterday and Today. Another one of my favorites of the U.S. The other one would be Beatles 65. And Rubber Soul. But yeah, this is fantastic. So what other bands were my favorites as a kid? Well, Rolling Stones. I wasn't one of them Beatles or Stones. I mean, come on, man. I like them both. They had a lot of good singles before this album. But this is the album that contains Satisfaction. And that is a song that really kind of caught my ear. I mean, really blew me away. This is another one of their really good early albums. Side 1 starts out with Paint It Black, Stupid Girl, Lady Jane, Under My Thumb. Just fantastic. And this is another one. It's got some home runs on it, man. Their Satanic Majesty's Request. It's a favorite of mine. And probably, I think, their best album. Beggar's Banquet. Just fantastic. Another favorite of mine as a wee lad was The Byrds. When I heard Mr. Tambourine Man, that song blew me away. I had no idea who Bob Dylan was, man. I mean, I was just a little kid, you know. Then we got this one, Younger Than Today, Younger Than Yesterday. This one I just picked up last year. It was the last Byrds album that I needed to complete. And I'm not a completist, but I guess I am. Then we got this one, man. Fifth Dimension. The album with 8 Miles High on it. One of the best psych songs ever. And one of the earliest, actually. In fact, the year before this album was released and this was recorded, they recorded a version of 8 Miles High. It's a different version, and it's fantastic. And it's like, man, that's pretty psychedelic for Beach Boys. My parents, I don't think, had any albums of theirs. But, man, I remember their singles on the radio, and I liked them. But this is the one album that I did get. And I heard this at my friend's house, and his older sister, who was really cute, was playing this. And I really dug it, man. It's got instrumentals. It's got vocal songs. Really cool. Now, I don't have any of their other early stuff. So I thought I would show a couple more. This is one I bought last year, Smiley Smile by the Beach Boys. I had streamed this before. And I thought it was kind of, you know, kind of like Squares trying to be cool, you know. But I really liked it. It's a lot better than I remember. And then finally, Sunflower by the Beach Boys. Probably 70 or something like that. I mean, by 70, I wasn't into the Beach Boys, but yeah, this is a good album. Now, a band that I really was into as a little kid is the Monkees. This is their second one, More of the Monkees. That first one, when that, what was it? When the Last Train to Clarksville came out, man, that song blew me away. It was, man, that is cool. And then they had a TV show. Wow. This is their third one. This is the album where they started playing the instruments more. I think on the first two, Michael Nesmith might have been the only one that played instruments. Then we got this one, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. This is a really cool album. Pleasant Valley Sunday, I believe, was the hit off of this. And then I'm going to show this one. It's like a comp on Rhino Records. And it's Best of the Monkees, Volume 4, 14 swinging songs. And this is not Best of the Monkees. This is more of their oddball songs. I mean, Gonna Buy Me a Dog. Now, five bands that I have recently discovered that I had never heard of before, you know. I mean, we can't hear everything, you know. We certainly can't buy everything. But it's the LA psych band Kaleidoscope. Side Trips. This is fantastic, dude. It's the band, the LA Kaleidoscope. There were 3 Kaleidoscopes that I know of back in the 60s. This is probably my favorite. And it's got psych pop mixed in with Middle Eastern and traditional folk songs. It's really, really good. And then this is Beacon from Mars. There's a picture of some of the members. This is a fantastic song, dude. Or fantastic album. Their third one, Bernice. I think this badass might be Bernice. But this is also really good. It's got the Eastern influences, and then it's got some more other stuff that's not quite as psychedelic. Their fourth one, this one, I need to listen to this one again. It's been a while. But from what I remember, this one wasn't near as psychedelic as the others. And then this one was like a mid-70s album. And I really dig this album. It's really good. Another band that I had never heard of, but I really dig, it's a favorite of mine now, it's the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band. This is part 2. Part 1. I have 2 of their other albums, but I don't know where they are. Mr. Yellowman. I had never heard of this guy. In fact, other than Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Toots and the Maytals, and there was a couple of others. You know, I didn't dive too deeply into reggae, and certainly not in the 80s stuff, which is when this guy was around. But this is a fantastic album. Very, even my wife digs this band. It's really smooth, great music. And you got this album, it's Zung Gunga Bung Bunga Yum Bung Yung, or whatever that says. And there's a picture of some of his other. But yeah, this is fantastic too. And then thirdly, we got this Yellow Man versus Josie Wells. And Josie Wells collaborated with him. And then finally, I believe this is the last, we got the Upsetters. This is a recent find or purchase. It's Clint Eastwood. Just a fantastic, really good Jamaican album. Another one, it's Max Romeo and the Upsetters, War in a Babylon. I think that's Max Romeo and Lee Perry on the back. And then we got Super 8. This is the first Upsetters album that I ever bought. And I bought this because of the Metal Theologian. He showed it on a Jamaican reggae video he did. Fantastic stuff. And then finally, we got Return of the Super 8. The Upsetters. Oh, and we got one more. The Racket Squad. Man, this might not be the best 60s band in the world, but right now, it's one of my favorites, man. I dig these dudes. And I believe they only had 2 albums. This one's a lot more psychedelic, but I really dig both of them. Okay. So now I'm going to show 10 new bands that are some of my favorites. Not all, I mean, and those other ones, they aren't all too, you know. There's the one that I have the most records of is Nod. This is live at Roadburn 2012. In fact, I have another live album of theirs that I need to show in Vinyl Finds. But yeah, this is fantastic. It's got the band on the cover. This guitar player here, man, he is so unique. He's got his own original. They got some really cool album covers. There's the Nod logo there. On the back, you got the Pope. This is In God We Trust. Now, this one, I believe, is a little more... no, this one, it's either this one or this one. Is more electronic, ambient type stuff. With Nod, all the records don't sound the same. So you got to kind of, before buying them, I would check it out. But yeah, what a cool album cover. And this is a really good one, a newer one. Chaparral Perolius. I'm not really good with that kind of. Now the next band, we got the Coat Hangers. This is their first album. This is a band I found out about because of the VC channel. What is it? The Potato Guy. The Vinyl Potato. The Potato Guy. This is a really good one. Maybe my favorite by them. Suck My Shirt. It's got a picture of the band playing right there. It's just 3 females. This is the Nosebleed Weekend. And right there, man, she's got a nosebleed. And here they are, like, hanging out in a motel, probably on tour. A really good one to start with. If not the Coat Hanger, the Suck My Shirt, is this live one's really good. And then I believe this is their last album. And I remember Vinyl Potato. This may have been my first one. I don't know. It's a lot. It's not as rough. It's a little more polished. But yeah, fantastic. All of them are really good. Another band that's a favorite of mine, a newer band, is Electric Wizard. And here's a picture of the band. Very doom metal, is that what they call this shit? This is fantastic. Then we got Dope Throne. Maybe they're the fan favorite. And then this is what's it? Which Cult Today. This is the first one that I ever bought by them, and it was a Record Store Day release. And that's how I think I found out about this band, is because of this Record Store Day release. And then we got this one, Black Mass. Black Masses, is it? Yeah, Black Masses. This one's fantastic too. And then finally, what's this one called? Time to Die. They have a bunch of albums. Those are the only ones I have. Another favorite. Death Valley Girls. This is their first album. It was a cassette-only release, and it had a different cover than this. Street Venom. This is fantastic. It's very garagey, punky, very raw, very unique album. The vocalist is fantastic. She reminds me of a Manson girl, kind of. You know, it's kind of scary sounding. And this one here is Glow in the Dark. And then we got this one, Darkness Reigns. All great stuff. And then this one here is Under the Spell of Joy. This one has a little more instrumentation in it. It's not quite as garagey sounding. And the guitars on this have a lot of reverb on it. Courtney Barnett, another favorite. This is her first album. Sometimes I sit and think, and sometimes I just sit. Somebody showed this on the VC, and I checked it out, and I go, man, she is so quirky, man. Just fantastic. Before this, she had a couple of EPs, and those have been released on an album. The first EP on side 1, the second EP on side 2. And those 2 EPs in this first album are probably my favorite by her. I don't have the album by her with a close-up, kind of a reddish, like a blurry picture of her. I don't have that album. I do have this one here, and I didn't care for this one. Things Take Time, Courtney Barnett. This one, some of the songs even have drum machines on it. It kind of took me aback. But after repeated listens, it's grown on me, and I really dig it. And lastly, I have this Courtney Barnett, Kurt Vile. There's a picture of him. Kurt Vile is also very popular with the youngsters. But I prefer the Courtney Barnett stuff. Another guy, Diane Coffey. This is, I think his 3rd album. His first album, I don't know where it's at. It's got a 60s vibe to it. He was actually the drummer from Foxygen. And then he recorded that first album. I guess they went on hiatus or whatever. And he recorded the first album, I guess in his apartment. I think using, I don't know, an iPad or whatever, an Apple product. He played all the instruments on it. It's fantastic. And it's a very 60s sounding. I think this may be his 2nd album. And this is the one that's more of a 70s. Everybody's a Good Dog. And it's fantastic too. His 3rd album was more of a 80s. And I don't have that one. I should probably get it. I didn't care for it when I heard it online. It's too synthy for me. So, I don't know. And then this is his latest album, With People. Came out a couple of years ago. And this made my best of video, whatever year this came out. It might even have topped the list. Next band is Smirk. LA band. Punky band. Very quirky punk. It's not hardcore punk at all. It's just really catchy songs. And yeah, I really dig these guys. They're very original. After that album, they came out with this EP. And their latest is this one, I believe. Material. Just a really cool band, man. Smirk. Check them out. Next one is La Luz. Their first couple of albums are in the other room because I was playing them the other day and I didn't get it. But this is Damp Face EP, which is some of their early stuff. And I bought this at a gig when I saw them in concert, and I had them sign it. And this is the album they were promoting when we saw them. Floating, what is it? Floating Features. And just fantastic. They were so good in concert. In fact, they came out, they opened the show with Floating Features, the song, instrumental song. And the guitars even had a Jimi Hendrix feel to it. It a lot more electric than the album. But yeah, just a fantastic band. And then this one here took me a little longer to get into. And it's minus the drummer. At least she's not in the picture there. And then this latest one, all of the guitar player, singer, Shauna Cleveland, she's the only original member left. But this is really good. The next band, new band, favorite of mine, we're going to go with Sleaford Mods. Sleaford Mods. Chubbed Up. I believe this might be a comp. I mean, I don't know, but that's what it is listed in Discogs. I had some of their earlier stuff on CD before I started buying records around 2015. And this one is Key Markets. Really cool album. They have a lot of records. I don't know how many of them I need, you know. And then we got the one hardcore punk band that I'm going to include here. It's Chain Whip, punk band from Vancouver, Canada. And here's a picture of the band. You can't really see them that well, but just fantastic stuff. I think that came out in 2021, and this is their demo from 2020. This was released on vinyl after that first album. And then I have this one, Two Step to Hell. Just a really good modern day hardcore band. The singer sounds like Joey Shithead, who are also from Vancouver, Canada. And the final one, we're going to go with Ty Segall. Look at that. This is his album Goodbye Bread. When I saw Ty Segall, he performed this album in its entirety. Just fantastic stuff. This one here is Melted. Now, I've told the story before that back in the early 80s, I was at the Whiskey A Go-Go and somebody asked me for an autograph. They thought I was Billy Zoom from X, the guitar player. And I told him I wasn't. He didn't buy it, so I gave him a Billy Zoom autograph. Well, recently, somebody thought I was this guy. Man, I've gone downhill. Now, here's one, Ty Segall and the Freedom Band. And this one is signed. It's just a scribble, though. And when I saw them, this is a Levitation Sessions. And when I saw Ty Segall, it was with the Freedom Band. And man, that was one of the loudest concerts I've ever been to. And I'm going to end it with Ty Segall and Manipulator. This is a great starting point for Ty Segall. A double album, and it's fantastic. Stream this, man. It's good. Ty Segall, Manipulator. Anyways, that's it. Thank you, Larry Graves, for the inspiration. And I'm going to leave a link to his video. Take care, everybody.